and be glad, for your reward is great in heaven. For in the same way they persecuted the prophets who were before you. Amen.
Thank you, Anne. Came across this Snoopy cartoon. Snoopy and Charlie Brown sitting
Very good.
at the edge of a lake, fishing or just sitting. One says, "Someday we will all die, Snoopy." True, but on all the other days, we will not. This year, I believe that our sense of loss has been compounded by the pandemic of the coronavirus. A virus which has killed thousands around the world and reduced us to living lives that are constrained and often isolated. It's been a season of life that's challenged us all in one way or another through these past weeks and months. And yet, sometimes it's in the hardest of times that we learn the most powerful lessons. I wonder what you would say you've learned through these last 6 months. For me, it's become clear that we as Christians need to seek truth. So many other statements around. One of our duties as Christians is to seek truth, to protect the vulnerable, go beyond ourselves and to protect the vulnerable. It has made us aware just how interdependent we are one with another. And fourthly, that we as Christians should not be afraid of speaking about death. I think that's one distinctive thing that Christians can contribute at this time, to speak fearlessly of the reality of death and human mortality, and the transcendent hope in the face of grief, loss, and death that the resurrection of Jesus offers. We live in an age of hubris, where medicine can cure all our ills and death is an unfortunate and embarrassing issue we would rather not talk about. Pandemics remind us, however, of our mortality, a reminder that we might resent. In Christian theology, mortality is actually a central reality of human life and a mark of our creatureliness. Our duty in these times is to live differently. Today's message from Ecclesiastes tells us, live life to the full. Live a life knowing that life is a gift from God, and God is there at the heart of it. Seize the day. Speak from the heart. Switch the television off and tell the people that you love how much you love them. Live a life worthy of people dying for your freedom. We can all feel bored at times, whether we're young, a child, or an older person. And yet, as Christians, we believe there is something of God in and through every situation. There is no such thing as a meaningless moment. Life is a growing thing from seed to sapling, always with purpose. The shaping of the self into a person of quality, compassion and joy. But for that to happen, every moment has to be faced. And this is where we listen to Ecclesiastes, the whole gamut of life, the ups and downs of feelings, the landscape of loss and joy. The teacher of Ecclesiastes weighs them all, and he teaches us the following. If you have Ecclesiastes 3 open, you might look at this as we go through this. He teaches that there is a time to kill whatever it is within us that keeps our souls from flying free. There is a time, he says, to refrain from embracing whatever it is that's smothering the heart. There's a time to weep the tears that dignify the going of those good things and people in life who brought us to where we are today. There's a time to embrace the good of life with great thumping hugs that give energy for the rest of the journey. There's a time to reap, to work hard, to achieve and assure the fruits of life. There is a time to run through life, head up, gathering as we go, piling up the good things and laughing as we do. There's a time to love and to find ourselves in someone else so that we can find ourselves at all. There's a time to lose, a time to let go of whatever has become our captor in life. There is a time to be born, fresh and full again, out of our old ideas, old forms, old shapes. There is a time to laugh, to let go of the old pomposities and join the bungling, lunging, silly, daft human race. There is a time to die, to put an end to things, to stop the carousal, to surrender to the forces of time and to trust them. There is a time of struggling against the forces within me that make for my destruction. There is a time to heal ourselves from the hurts that weigh us down. There is a time to build up, to construct a new world, to co-create the globe so that what we leave behind is better than the world in which we entered. Finally, there is a time for peace, for coming to grips with the demons within us, for staring them down and smoothing them out so that we can spread peace. And who shall do such things? Ecclesiastes says, it is only when we engage every moment, when we complete the dance of life by dancing it ourselves from our hearts with our souls. And so we live this day a life worthy of people dying for our freedom. We live a life not for ourselves, but for the glory of God.